Hello, Eric. How you doing? I've got your work up here, and first thing I want to say is that the logo is really very, very, very good. I think it's the multiple layers of meaning, as well as the color composition and the general mechanics of the logo is just outstanding. Fabulous job. The branding guide itself, I think you've really done a great job. I think each page is very, very interesting and is really able to stand on its own very well. That said, as a cohesive presentation, there's a lot of things you can do that I think that will really tighten this up. Let me just go through the presentation and I'll think out loud, so to speak. Okay. Logo's great. Can we just, gosh, I know I've been saying this since week one, but can we just get rid of this and just let the logo, just let's see the logo. I know every week I say, Eric, take this out, take this out, take this out. And I really hope that you're starting to appreciate and understand the power of minimalism. And I think this is just going to be a wonderful example. We take these off the page, reassess, take a look at the page. I think you're going to agree. Let's move on. I think one of the things I think that is missing from the presentation is the use of a grid. And let me show you what I mean, okay? I know somebody else, speaking of grid, I just want to mention typography real quick. I love the typeface. I think it's got a really light airiness to it. But don't drop cap the beginning of every paragraph. That's not what a drop cap is meant for. Drop cap is meant to draw attention to the beginning of a story, per se, or an article. It's not meant for the beginning of each paragraph. So I highly recommend against that. Over here, you've got, boy, that is, okay, so I'm trying to, yeah, this is justified type. Okay, so that's why, okay, so in some of your justified type blocks like this, for example, you get these really weird spaces. Each one of those will have to be adjusted. These spaces between words, see the recurring pattern, these huge spaces between the three words in the first line is a great example of that. Justified typesettings will take care of that. You might have to adjust each paragraph individually. But what I want to do is this, talking about the grid, okay? So I think this would be, to me, this is the closest use of a grid that you have going for you. The one thing I think is kind of throwing this page off is the fact that, well, actually, I think I mentioned this last time, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items here, and you have 3 items here, but you got this big blank white space. Can we get something in there just to even these pages out a little? Also, I think that if I pull a guide, let me just pull a guide here, top of that, you can see that these are kind of out of alignment. Let's pull a guide to the bottom of those, of your iterations. Okay, and you can, you're in alignment there on the bottom, but see what I'm saying? The top, each one of these is sticking out the top, is kind of dissecting the page kind of in an odd way. So the reason I chose this page is because I think this page is the closest thing to a grid that we have. All right, so what I do when I'm talking and I'm flipping the pages around like this, I'm actually measuring. Watch my cursor. I place my cursor right here, and I'm going to see that the next page, the text jumps right down here, and there's nothing in alignment with my cursor. That's a problem. So again, there's my cursor. Next page. That at the very least, that purple block should be right up there. Speaking of the colors, always show your RGB and CYMK color values, always. Unless you're using spot colors, in which case you would use the Pantone equivalent, okay? So again, there's my cursor is right there. Okay, so you can see even that page, which seemingly would align, isn't. See what I'm saying? And we can see different examples of this. Let's go over, and we'll do the same thing over here. Now, I'm even seeing, now watch your headlines and watch them jump around the page when I scroll down. See how that one jumped up? I'll show you again. I'm going to take the top of my cursor and place it at the baseline. Okay, now watch. See how that just jumped up? So you see how those are jumping around? You don't want that. So as far as where that, okay, so seemingly that would be where the corner of your grid would be. So we're out of alignment. There's really nothing in alignment here. Okay, the corner of the tickets could be in alignment. Okay, they're very good. Excellent. You've got a couple of things that are falling in alignment with the grid that you've set up on this page, but you have a lot that aren't. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to illustrate here. When you're going through a composition, if you're making the viewer's eye jump around from different portions of the page from each time they turn the page, that's not a good thing. And I think that you're doing that a little bit. Not too bad, but keep that in mind. Okay, good job with your image citations. Did you get them all? You got a lot of images here. Make sure you cite them all. I mean, you even have to cite things like that. If that's not your work, you have to cite it. The shorts, these images, that guy, all of these images all should be cited. I'm not saying you are or you aren't. I didn't really look that closely at your citations. I'm just saying if you didn't, definitely keep that in mind. Moving forward, I think you did. Your citations look pretty complete. So, all right, great job, outstanding perseverance. I know I rode you pretty hard, maybe a little harder than some of the other students, but I think that we're definitely responding to that kind of impetus, and I think that the result, I think, clearly speaks for itself. Okay, awesome job. Keep my contact information. If I can be of any assistance to you whatsoever here at RimCAD, please feel free to reach out. Okay, thank you very much.